Hi, everybody. This is Aaron Mesh with Willamette Week, and on this chilly, windy Sunday afternoon, I'm here with Oregon Labor Commissioner Val Hoyle. Uh, but we're not talking about Boley. We're talking about the congressional district where Commissioner Hoyle lives, uh, and that is U.S. Congress District 4. It's in the news lately. You can't really open Politico's website or the Washington Post without reading a story about Congressional District 4 in Oregon, the potentially most expensive congressional race in Oregon history, and some are saying a test of a new strategy for Republicans in a time when they're running out of useful strategies for maintaining seats in Congress. Uh, I think a lot of Portlanders, Commissioner, are surprised when they look at this race to hear that Congressman Peter DeFazio is in a little bit of trouble. But you had a different perspective on this. You said that the surprise is actually kind of the other way.
That's exactly right. There are very few Democrats that could hold the seat, and it's when people in Portland think about Oregon, and when people outside of Oregon think about Oregon, they think of it as a blue state, and they think of the Democratic districts as solid blue. And part of that is because Peter DeFazio has overperformed in this district, sometimes by 15 to 20% over the Republican presidential candidates or other Republican candidates, because this district includes not just Eugene and Corvallis, which is when, I talk to people in Portland, they think, oh, well, it's Eugene and Corvallis. This must be a super liberal district. Well, it's not. It's Lane County, it's Benton County, but it's also Lynn County and Douglas County, Coos County, Curry County, Josephine County. And those are really conservative districts that have moved far to the right since the 1980s. I mean, Douglas County isn't the county that elected John Kitzhaber in the 80s, and Eugene isn't the district that elected, Dave Frohmeyer in the 80s, right? Like, these districts have become much more hyper-partisan, but fundamentally, this is one of 8 50-50 districts in the country. So there's only 8 in the country. So Hillary Clinton won the 4th congressional district 4 years ago by 554 votes. So, and what we saw just a few months ago was that Trump was up by 2 points. Now I think Biden's up by 1 or 2 points. So this is a very, very close district. And Peter has done well because people see him as a fighter for the district. He challenged Obama on infrastructure, lack of spending on infrastructure, just as he challenged Trump. And he's willing to stand up for the people of the district. He's more populist than progressive. But I think people have taken it for granted because Peter has overperformed what the district Democratic performance would normally be.
And his challenger this cycle is an interesting young man. He's named Alex Skarlatos.
Mm-hmm.
He's something of a celebrity. I'd describe him as the Audie Murphy of Oregon at this point. He was involved in stopping a terrorist attack on a train in France. And that heroism propelled him to some fame, including a role playing himself in the movie about him stopping the terrorist attack on a train in France. Clint Eastwood directed it. It's called 1517 to Paris. What do you make of Skarlatos?
He's a young man who I think has a bright future ahead of him. Fundamentally, in this district, we've had for the past 10 years Art Robinson running, who now will be headed to the Oregon Senate. And he was an interesting individual, and he was the first person that the Mercers came in with a super PAC to spend big money on in 2010. But he had a lot of baggage. This is the kind of district, and I know that Republicans are looking to see where they can expand, and they've had their eye on Peter DeFazio's district for a while. If you took any Republican John Doe and put $3 million behind him, he would come close in this district. And what they found in Alex Skarlatos was somebody who had a name, was a celebrity, came from Douglas County, and sort of was a blank slate for the policies that many people, 50% of this district, support. So, and because of his celebrity, he's been able to bring in a lot of money from all around the country, $75,000 from Ted Cruz alone, where you've got Kevin McCarthy, you've got Right to Life, you've got all the GOP elites that have been spending in Oregon because they see an opportunity, because they see the numbers, right? And again, you've got this blank slate of a guy at a time during COVID where he doesn't have to show up to debates. He doesn't have to prove that he's done anything other than have an R after his name, because of hyperpartisanship. As I said, Peter DeFazio always overperformed the Democratic candidate, but in this time of hyperpartisanship, people are voting more straight ticket. So Republicans are less likely to split their vote. Now, the one thing Peter has going for him is that he has been here for a while. His constituent work, his work with veterans, his work on infrastructure investment has been, people here see him as an independent fighter for the district. And so as much as it's a tough race because of the numbers and because of hyperpartisanship, I feel like Peter's the strongest candidate we could have. But again, you put $3 million behind anybody with an R after their name, they're going to make a good go of it.
So you live outside Springfield.
I live outside of Springfield. Yep,
so
in the county.
You're seeing the money on television, I assume. I'm not seeing it here because in Portland we're getting ads about other matters. What does $3 million in a congressional race look like on TV?
It's a lot. They have spent a lot on consultants. Certainly, it's what we see national R's do, and they sent a campaign manager in from out of state to handle Alec and the campaign. And it's, I think 11 months ago, Brad Parscale, Trump's campaign manager, came here with Laura Trump because they were planning on targeting the district. So we're seeing TV ads all the time. We're seeing ads on social media. We're seeing mailers, lawn signs. It's just, when I talk to people, Republican or Democrat, they want this to be over because we're seeing so many ads.
So if you were putting down money in Vegas on this very expensive race, which way are you betting?
I never bet against Peter DeFazio, never. So I believe Peter will win. I believe it will be close. Again, this is one of 8 50-50 districts in the country, but people here know that Peter DeFazio fights for them, and I believe that he will win, and I believe that we will benefit greatly with the policies that he'll put forward. He's talked to the Biden administration about moving forward early with developing a transportation package if Biden wins, and he's talked with the Trump administration about a transportation package if they win. But I believe Peter DeFazio will win, and I'm looking forward to having him as my congressman for as long as he's willing to run, which I hope is a long time.